Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. That's the law. The law of wealth attraction is real, and it works whether you believe in it or not. The problem is, most people spend their lives chasing money while never becoming the kind of person who can actually hold on to it. That's why they stay stuck, working harder but never getting ahead. This law doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to discipline, value, and self-respect. Wealth doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who take personal responsibility, fix their thinking, and raise their standards. If you want to attract wealth, you've got to become useful, consistent, and focused. You've got to stop copying broke habits and start creating new rules that match the life you want. This isn't about theory, it's about action. It's about doing the things most people avoid. In this video, you'll learn how to activate the law of wealth attraction in your life, step by step, with real strategy and real truth. No hype, just what works. If you're ready to stop surviving and start attracting what you truly deserve, stay with me. Number 1, fix how you think about money, or stay broke. That's not just a warning, that's a law. The law of wealth attraction doesn't begin with your income, your job, your environment, or your family. It starts with your thoughts. What you believe about money becomes your financial life. That's where the entire game is played. And most people never stop to check the thoughts they're repeating every day. Now think about this. If every time you hear the word money, you feel pressure, guilt, or fear, what do you think you're attracting into your life? Not wealth, not success, just more confusion and more struggle. That's not a mindset problem. It's a survival trap. People are stuck in it for years. Some live in it forever. They look at money like it's something far away or something reserved for a different kind of person. But the truth is, nothing changes until your mind changes. If you think poor, you stay poor. That's not opinion, that's reality. Most people were never taught how to think about money. They grew up hearing things like money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy. That kind of language becomes your lens. And if you keep looking through it, even opportunities will look like problems. You'll talk yourself out of growing. You'll settle, hesitate, and second guess your potential. And guess what? You'll be right. Because your mind will find a way to prove what it already believes. Wealth is not just about getting paid. It's about becoming the kind of person who deserves it, who can handle it, who knows what to do with it. You attract what you prepare for. If your thinking is filled with fear, you'll reject risk. If your thinking is small, you'll avoid big goals. If your thinking is desperate, you'll chase quick wins and lose in the long run. Wealth doesn't show up just because you want it. It shows up because you're finally aligned with it. Start asking yourself the real questions. What do I believe about money right now? Do I believe it's good or bad? Do I believe it's for me or for someone else? Do I see money as a tool or as a problem? Because if you keep seeing it as a problem, it will always feel out of reach. You won't respect it. You won't keep it. You'll spend it to escape emotions instead of using it to build your future. Here's something to understand. Money doesn't fix a poor mindset. It only exposes it. That's why so many people win the lottery and lose it all. They didn't grow first. They didn't become someone who could hold on to it, multiply it, protect it. They had the money, but not the mindset. And that's why wealth attraction is never about luck. It's about who you are becoming every day. Your habits, your decisions, your discipline, all come from how you think. If you think money is evil, you'll keep pushing it away. If you think rich people are selfish, you'll never allow yourself to be one. Your subconscious mind will make sure of it. And if your thoughts are filled with limitation, you'll keep repeating the same cycle. Spend, worry, regret, repeat. You'll start thinking survival is normal. You'll stop dreaming. You'll talk yourself into playing it safe. And here's the danger. You won't even notice you're stuck. It'll feel like life is just happening to you. But the truth is, your mind is driving everything. So what do? You rebuild the way you think. Slowly, intentionally, powerfully. You stop saying, I can't afford it, and start saying, how can I earn it? You stop saying, I don't need much, and start asking, what kind of life do I want to build? You stop settling for less just because you're used to it. Wealth isn't about being greedy. It's about becoming capable, responsible, and impactful. When you fix your thinking, you fix your choices. You stop buying things to impress people. You stop chasing temporary highs. You stop blaming your job, your parents, your situation. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop quitting after one failure. That shift in thinking puts you in control, and that's when you start attracting more because you finally believe you're worthy of more. Some people walk around saying they want money, but deep down they don't believe they deserve it. They think their past defines them. They think wealth is for people with better connections or better luck. That kind of thinking is the reason they're stuck. You can't hold something you secretly feel guilty about. You can't chase something you don't believe belongs to you. Now here's something real. Wealth requires belief and behavior, not one, both. You can believe all day long, but if your actions don't match, nothing moves. On the other hand, if you grind every day but your beliefs sabotage you, you'll hit the same wall over and over again. That's why people burn out. That's why they hustle but don't grow. That's why they stay stuck even when they work hard. Their thoughts are pulling them backwards while their hands are trying to move forward. You can't win that way. So if you want to attract wealth, you've got to get serious. No more casual thinking. No more hoping. You've got to challenge every old belief you have about money. You've got to ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is it pushing me forward or keeping me safe and small? And once you identify the problem thoughts, you replace them one by one with new ones. Stronger ones, wealthier ones. Thoughts like, I'm capable of earning more, I'm responsible with money, I create value and get paid for it, I attract people who respect growth, I make smart financial decisions, I can learn anything I need to learn. These are the kinds of thoughts that shift your results. Not overnight, but definitely over time. And you'll feel the shift too, emotionally. You'll feel less afraid of rejection. You'll stop looking for approval. You'll stop comparing yourself. You'll stop doubting your path just because it doesn't look like everyone else's. That's how wealth attraction starts, internally, quietly, with new thoughts and bold choices. This is where real wealth begins. Not in your bank account, but in your inner world, in how you view money, how you treat it, how you chase it, how you respect it. If you want different results, you need different thoughts, not just more knowledge, a whole new level of thinking, a deeper level of clarity, a higher level of ownership. Because wealth doesn't come to people who complain. It comes to people who take full responsibility. People who say, if I don't change how I think, nothing else will change. That kind of ownership creates power. It builds discipline. It sparks confidence. And with that, your entire financial life begins to shift. Slowly at first, then faster, then permanently. It won't be easy. It'll feel uncomfortable. You'll have to question beliefs you've held for years. You'll have to face the truth that maybe you've been thinking wrong. But if you want wealth, this is the path. Not a shortcut, not a trick, a transformation. And it starts with your mind. You're not stuck. You're just thinking the same thoughts every day. Change those and everything changes. You can build wealth, but only if you stop thinking like someone who can't. You deserve more, but you have to think like it, act like it, live like it. And the law of wealth attraction will respond to that version of you. That's the truth. That's the law. Fix how you think about money, or stay broke. The choice is yours. Number 2, look at your habits and stop lying to yourself. That's where change begins. Not with motivation, not with hope, with honesty. Real honesty. Most people say they want to be successful. Most say they want wealth, discipline, and growth. But when you zoom in on their daily habits, their actions tell a very different story. They say they want financial freedom, but they're wasting money on things they don't need. They say they want more time, but they're scrolling through hours of content they'll never use. That gap between what people say and what they actually do is the real problem. It's easy to talk about goals. It's easy to post quotes. It's easy to pretend that one day somehow everything will just fall into place. But nothing changes until your habits do. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your days are full of distractions, then your dreams will always be delayed. You can't build wealth with lazy patterns. You can't build confidence by lying to yourself about how hard you're working. You've got to face yourself. You've got to look at the truth even when it hurts. Every person has 2 versions of themselves. The one they pretend to be, and the one they really are when no one's watching. The real version is found in your habits. How you spend your mornings. How you handle frustration. Those small things define your life, not your goals, your patterns. If you wake up late, scroll for hours, skip your responsibilities, eat like you don't care, and avoid anything uncomfortable, what do you expect to build from that? You can't lie to yourself and expect success to show up. It won't. The law of results doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to action, discipline, consistency. And the habits you build when life is boring and no one's paying attention, most people lie to themselves because the truth is uncomfortable. It's hard to admit you're not trying hard enough. It's hard to admit you've been making excuses. But that kind of honesty is the beginning of real power. Because once you admit it, you can change it. But if you keep pretending, if you keep telling yourself you're doing your best when deep down you know you're not, then nothing will change. You can't fake effort. You can't fake self-respect. You either build real habits or you keep repeating the same cycle. Waking up tired, frustrated, behind on everything, talking about someday and never taking control of today. You want to know why some people grow and others don't? It's not luck. It's not even talent. It's daily habits. It's choosing what's right over what's easy. It's being honest enough to say, I'm the problem and I can fix it. The people who win in life aren't perfect. They're not always motivated, but they do something most people avoid. They take full responsibility. They don't make excuses for why they're not where they want to be. They track their habits. They correct their behavior. They don't lie to themselves about effort. They don't pretend to be productive. They are productive, and it shows. If you want to change your life, track everything. Track how you spend your hours. Track your distractions. Track your money. Track how often you waste time. That level of clarity will expose the truth, and the truth is your best friend, because it will show you exactly where the work is, not in theory, in reality. We all say we want more, but how many are willing to do more? How many are actually putting in the hours? How many are reading instead of scrolling, practicing instead of watching, working instead of complaining? The answer is very few. That's why results are rare, not because success is unfair, but because most people avoid the habits that create it. You want to feel more confident? Build the habits that earn confidence. Stop saying you'll start tomorrow. Start now. Build one good habit this week. Track your progress. Stay honest. Don't tell yourself it's okay to skip just because you're tired. Tired people still brush their teeth, still go to work, still show up for others. You've got to learn to show up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. Habits don't need to be big, they just need to be real. Start waking up when you said you would. Clean your space. Eat with discipline. Use your time with intention. Every time you do something that builds your future, you send yourself a message. You matter. Your goals matter. And that message over time changes your self-image. But when you lie to yourself, when you say just one more time, or I'll fix it later, you break trust with yourself. And broken self-trust leads to low energy, low motivation, and low confidence. That's why so many people feel stuck. It's not that they don't have potential. It's that their habits don't match their vision. And instead of facing that, they keep pretending, keep delaying, keep hoping something external will come save them. There's no outside rescue coming. You have to become your own rescue. And that begins with facing your current habits. If you're not reading, not learning, not pushing yourself, not following through, then don't be surprised when you feel lost or behind. That feeling isn't life being unfair. It's your results catching up to your actions. The great thing is this: you can fix it right now. You don't need to wait for Monday or next month. You don't need more time. You need more honesty. Ask yourself, what habit is ruining my progress right now? What lie am I telling myself that's keeping me average? What action have I been avoiding because it's uncomfortable? Write the answers down. Make them clear. Call yourself out, not to feel bad, but to wake up. This is your life, and it's not getting longer. Every year you lie to yourself is a year you lose. Time doesn't care how you feel. It keeps moving, and you can either rise with it or stay stuck in the same cycles. You deserve better, but you won't get better until you stop accepting less. That means breaking habits that don't serve you. That means waking up earlier, being uncomfortable, saying no to things that distract you, and building a new standard, a new normal, because your old normal isn't working. That's the truth. So stop saying you want it and start showing you want it. In your habits, in your effort, in your discipline, in your time. Show up for yourself. Keep your promises. Be proud of how you live, not in public, in private. That's where it counts. That's where your future is being built. And remember this: the truth doesn't hurt you. It sets you free. The lie is what keeps you trapped. Stop lying to yourself about who you are and how hard you're working. Face the facts, then do something about it. That's how you attract success. That's how you build confidence. That's how you earn respect from yourself first, and then from the world. Number 3, want more money without shame or hesitation today. That decision alone can shift your entire life. Most people never allow themselves to want more. Not because they don't need it, not because they don't dream about it, but because deep down they feel guilty for wanting it. They were taught that asking for more makes them selfish, greedy, or ungrateful. That mindset kills progress. It holds people back in silence. They stay broke not because they're incapable, but because they're ashamed to want better. You need to understand this. Money is not something you should feel guilty about wanting. It's not a bad thing to want more. It's a bad thing to keep living below your potential just to feel accepted. There is nothing wrong with wanting to live in a better neighborhood, give your family more options, or build something that takes care of you long term. That's not greed, that's wisdom, that's vision. And if you let shame stop you from wanting more, you'll stay in survival mode your whole life. Shame and hesitation are silent killers of ambition. They convince you to play small. They tell you to wait. They whisper things like, Be grateful for what you have whenever you try to stretch. Gratitude and growth are not enemies. You can be thankful and still want more. In fact, that's how real growth happens, when you're thankful but not satisfied. When you're proud but still hungry. When you're grounded but you know you can do more, give more, build more. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to upgrade your life. Don't wait for a crisis to force you into action. Want more because your life deserves more. Want more because the current version of your life isn't your final form. If you've been holding back because you don't want to look selfish, it's time to break that mindset. You're not selfish for wanting to improve your situation. You're serious. You're paying attention. Most people talk themselves out of growth because they've been conditioned to feel bad about wanting money. They believe rich equals bad, that success changes people in the wrong way. But look around. Lack of money has destroyed more homes, more relationships, and more dreams than wealth ever will. Financial stress isn't noble. It's painful. And if you've lived with it long enough, you know exactly how real that pain is. Wanting more isn't about luxury. It's about freedom. It's about having choices. It's about waking up and doing work that matters, not just work that pays the bills. It's about sending your kids to better schools. It's about helping your parents when they're older. It's about not stressing over groceries or gas. Wanting that kind of stability is not something to feel bad about. It's something to take seriously. But you can't take it seriously if you keep hesitating. If you keep telling yourself it's not the right time. If you keep acting like you're okay with less when you know you're capable of more. Stop acting like your current situation is the best you can do. Stop pretending that just enough is enough. If it's not enough, say it, own it, face it. Because once you admit it, you can start doing something about it. That's where change begins, with the truth. If you want more, you've got to be willing to say it out loud, without apologizing, without softening your voice, without asking for approval. And once you say it, follow it up with action. Learn what you need to learn. Build what you need to build. Start showing up like someone who actually wants to move forward. A lot of people say they want money, but their actions show hesitation. They downplay their goals. They settle for low-paying jobs. They avoid asking for what they're worth. That's hesitation. That's fear, pretending to be humility. But you don't attract more by shrinking. You attract more by standing up straight, speaking clearly, and acting with purpose. If you want more money, you have to do more than wish for it. You have to change the way you think, speak, and act. You have to stop accepting less just because you've been used to it. You have to raise your standards, not in your words, in your behavior, in your time, in your work ethic, in your consistency. Money flows toward people who solve problems, people who bring value, people who are clear about what they want. But if your mindset is full of guilt, fear, or confusion, you'll push those opportunities away. You'll avoid making offers. You'll undercharge. You'll settle for scraps. You'll play small in a world that rewards those who think big and act bold. And make no mistake, this isn't about being flashy. It's not about pretending to be rich. It's not about showing off. It's about being done with the games you've been playing with yourself. The game of acting like you don't care. The game of pretending you're fine when deep down you know you're tired of struggling. It's about dropping the mask and doing what needs to be done to upgrade your reality. There's no prize for suffering in silence. There's no award for staying stuck. If you know you can do better, then do better. If you know you can earn more, then chase it without shame. If you know you've been holding back, then admit it and correct it. That's how growth begins. Not with pretending, but with ownership. The moment you stop apologizing for wanting more is the moment you give yourself permission to chase it fully. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop asking for validation. You stop listening to people who gave up on their own potential years ago. And you start building, one step at a time, with energy, with clarity, with discipline, and you'll feel the difference. You'll stop walking around with that heavy feeling in your chest, the one that comes from pretending you're okay when you're not. You'll stop saying maybe one day and start acting like today matters, because it does. Today is the only day you can control, and if you waste it, it's gone. Wanting more money today is a decision to stop being passive. It's a decision to stop blaming the world, the economy, your past, or your job. It's saying, I take control from here, not perfectly, not overnight, but honestly, with grit, with patience, with a deep understanding that wealth is earned by those who pursue it without apology. The world doesn't owe you success, but it will respond to your energy. If you move like someone who's serious, you'll attract serious results. If you act like someone who respects their time, their skills, and their goals, money will find you. But it starts with your permission, not the world's, yours. So give yourself that permission. Want more, earn more, build more, live better, and never feel bad about it again. Number 4, say no to things that drain your future income. If you don't, your future won't look much different than your present. Every choice you make today either builds your future or weakens it. Every time you say yes to something that adds no real value to your life, You are choosing to delay the wealth you claim to want. It's not just about working hard, it's also about protecting what you work for. And most people don't do that. They give away their time, their energy, and their money without even realizing the cost. Most people think financial success is about how much they earn. It's not. It's also about what you keep, what you invest, and what you protect. You can't build wealth if you keep leaking it through poor decisions. You can't grow if everything you do today is based on short-term pleasure or quick rewards. If you're spending money just to feel better for a moment, you're trading long-term freedom for temporary comfort. That trade will keep you stuck for years, sometimes even decades. Look at your daily life. How much money are you wasting on things you don't need? How much time are you giving away to people who don't respect it? How often are you saying yes when you should be saying no? These small decisions are easy to ignore in the moment, but over time they add up and they shape your future. The truth is, discipline isn't just about pushing harder. It's about protecting your progress. If you work all week and then spend all your money on things that don't bring growth, what's the point? If you use your weekend to escape your reality instead of building a better one, you're not progressing, you're escaping. An escape is expensive. It costs more than money. It costs clarity. It costs energy. It costs time. You'll never get back. You need to say no with strength, not with guilt, not with hesitation. Say no to nights out you can't afford. Say no to spending just to keep up appearances. Say no to habits that pull you away from your goals. Not because you're being strict, but because your future matters more. That's what discipline really is. Making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. If you want to be financially free, you have to start acting like it now, not later. That means protecting your attention, protecting your wallet, protecting your peace. There are people who will drain your energy and call it friendship. There are habits that will destroy your time and call it entertainment. There are things you do out of comfort that are quietly killing your momentum. Say no, not once, not sometimes, consistently, with purpose. Your future income depends on what you do when nobody is watching. It depends on how you treat the hours after work. It depends on whether you're building or just burning time. Saying yes to distractions is the easiest way to stay broke. Saying no to distractions is the fastest way to stay focused. Focus is what compounds. That's how you grow. And distractions kill that. Every yes you give to something meaningless is a no to something meaningful. You just don't feel the pain right away. But it always shows up in your bank account, in your schedule, in your health, in your stress. This is how life teaches lessons. Slowly, then suddenly. One careless decision doesn't break you, but 1,000 small careless decisions, they add up. And one day you wake up stuck, wondering why nothing is working. And the truth is, the problem wasn't the world. The problem was all the things you said yes to when you should have said no. Start paying attention. Look at your life like a business. What's bringing a return? What's taking away value? If someone is always draining you, taking from you, distracting you, cut it off. That doesn't make you cold. That makes you clear. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to build something that matters. And not everyone belongs in that process. You'll need to be strong enough to set boundaries. Not everyone will like it. Some people will call you selfish. Some will say you've changed, and they'll be right. You've decided to change because you're tired of wasting your potential. You've decided to take yourself seriously. And the price of that decision is learning to say no, clearly and unapologetically. Think about how many things you've said yes to just because you didn't want to offend someone. Think about the money you've spent trying to impress people who don't even support you. Think about how often you've delayed your own goals just to fit in. That's not just a mistake, it's a pattern, and you've got to break it. Saying no isn't weakness, it's leadership. You're leading your own life. You're saying, this is where I'm going, and I'm not letting anything pull me off track. That's power, that's control. And the more you take control, the faster your life begins to shift. Not because the world changed, because your decisions changed. Start small. Start by saying no to one thing a day that you know drains you. That could be an unnecessary purchase, a pointless conversation, a distraction that kills an hour. Replace it with something that builds you. Read, learn, save, practice, work. That's how real momentum begins. Not with some giant leap, but with quiet, consistent no's to the wrong things and yeses to the right ones. And it's not just about saving money. It's about saving your future. It's about being able to say yes to bigger opportunities because you didn't waste yourself on the small ones. The money you don't waste today becomes the money you can invest tomorrow. The time you protect today becomes the skills you sharpen that pay you for life. There's no excuse for staying stuck when you have the power to say no. That's your superpower. That's your leverage. And most people give it away. Don't be one of them. Protect your future like it matters, because it does. Say no to anything that weakens your path. Say no to anything that pulls you backwards. Say no to anything that makes you question your worth or your potential. That's not strength. That's maturity. That's how wealth begins. Not just with how much you earn, but with how well you protect your path toward earning it. Say no, not with hesitation, but with confidence. Say no because you know what's at stake. Say no because your goals are real. Say no because you've wasted enough time, money, and energy on things that gave you nothing back. Your future income depends on the boundaries you set today. And the more you honor those boundaries, the closer you get to the life you say you want. Make that decision. Stand by it and don't look back. Number 5, focus on progress, not people who doubt you. That's how you move forward when the world is full of noise. Every time you stop to explain yourself, every time you try to win someone over, every time you let their doubts slow your steps, you lose a piece of your own momentum. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they waste their energy trying to prove something to people who already made up their minds. That's not strength, that's distraction. And distraction is the enemy of progress. The truth is, not everyone is going to believe in you. Some people won't even try to understand what you're building. They'll laugh, they'll question, they'll ignore your effort until it turns into results. And even then, they'll find something to criticize. That's not your fault, that's their mindset. And it's not your job to fix it. Your job is to keep moving forward. Your job is to stay locked in on what you're building and let the noise fade into the background. You don't need anyone's permission to grow. You don't need applause to become better. You don't need everyone to understand your path. Some people will never see your vision because they've already quit on theirs. They can't see someone chasing a dream without feeling uncomfortable. That discomfort turns into criticism, but their discomfort has nothing to do with your potential. It has everything to do with what they've given up on. Stop checking if they believe in you. Start checking how much you've improved since last week. Progress is your proof. Progress is your answer. Progress is the way you show up for yourself, regardless of who's watching. The more time you spend worried about who doubts you, the less time you have to build something real. And real results don't come from validation. They come from consistent action. You've got goals to hit. You've got habits to fix. You've got a future to build. That requires your full attention. It requires focus. And focus doesn't grow in a mind filled with doubt, fear, or insecurity. It grows in a mind that's clear on the mission. You've got to protect your mental space from people who don't value it. That means cutting conversations short. That means distancing yourself from people who bring confusion, drama, or unnecessary opinions. You're not being rude by protecting your progress. You're being wise. There's a difference between feedback and doubt. Feedback helps you grow. Doubt tries to shrink you. You have to know the difference. And you have to stop giving attention to voices that haven't earned the right to speak into your vision. If they haven't built what you're building, their opinion doesn't carry weight. That's not arrogance. That's common sense. Your progress is personal. Your growth doesn't need to be understood to be valid. Sometimes the people closest to you will doubt you the most, not because they hate you, but because they've never seen someone close to them break out of the same cycle. When you start rising, it challenges their comfort. And most people would rather pull you back than rise with you. Not because they're evil, because they're scared. That's why you have to make a choice. Stay focused on your path or get lost trying to manage everyone else's opinions. You can't do both. Trying to make everyone believe in you is a losing game. Some people will never support you until they see the results, and some still won't even then. That's why you have to move with or without the support. You have to train your mind to care more about the mission than the crowd. Every day you make a decision to move forward or stay stuck, and doubt, when given too much room, always leads to stuck. That's why progress must be the priority, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, even if no one else sees it. Because over time, progress compounds. Over time, it turns into something they can't ignore. But by then, it won't even matter, because you'll have grown so much, you won't even need their approval. The people who win long-term are not the ones with the loudest support. They're the ones who stay consistent when no one's cheering. They're the ones who build in silence, grow in private, and stay grounded in purpose. While others are looking for attention, they're looking for improvement. While others are trying to prove a point, they're trying to solve problems. That's what separates the serious from the stuck. You've got to be honest with yourself. How much time are you wasting thinking about who doubts you? How much of your energy is spent trying to explain yourself, defend your decisions, or chase validation? That energy could be used to level up your skills, tighten your habits, or plan your next move. But instead, it's being wasted on noise. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the longer your goals stay out of reach. You don't need to respond to doubt. You need to respond to opportunity. You need to respond to discipline. You need to respond to the version of you that knows you're capable of more. That voice, the one that pushes you to keep going when you're tired, to show up when you don't feel like it. That's the voice you need to feed, not the voice of someone who gave up on themselves a long time ago. Progress is the proof you're doing the right thing, and progress doesn't lie. Even if it's small, it shows you're moving. And movement is what leads to results, not arguments, not approval, not defending your goals to doubters, just movement. Real, measurable growth. That's what matters. You owe it to yourself to stop letting other people's limitations set your pace. You owe it to your future to stop pausing your progress just because someone doesn't see your vision. Doubt is loud, but it's not permanent. It fades when success becomes obvious. But you don't wait for that moment to feel confident. You build confidence by doing the work no one else is willing to do, quietly, daily, without hesitation. You are not here to convince doubters. You are here to become undeniable, and that happens through action, through consistency, through showing up every day with a clear head and a focused heart. You don't have time to slow down. Not now, not when you're this close to a breakthrough. Every time you focus on doubt, you slow your own momentum. Every time you let someone's opinion carry more weight than your own effort, you rob yourself of progress. Let people doubt, let them laugh, let them misunderstand. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep building, to stay disciplined, to remain focused on what you said you would do. Doubt will come and go, but progress stays with you. Progress builds your future, and every day you choose it over noise, you become stronger, you become clearer, you become more powerful than the doubt ever was. So stay the course. Keep your head down, keep your standards high, let your results speak louder than your words. Let your consistency drown out their opinions. You are not here to play small just because someone else refuses to think big. Focus on progress. That's your job. Everything else is just background noise. Keep going. You're building something they won't understand until it's done. Number 6, feel the fear of staying poor and act now. That feeling you try to avoid, the anxiety when bills pile up, the stress of choosing between needs, the pressure of living paycheck to paycheck, that fear has a purpose. It's not your enemy. It's a warning. It's your wake-up call. And if you ignore it, if you keep pretending everything is okay while your situation gets tighter and your dreams drift further, you're lying to yourself. That fear is telling you something your comfort zone won't. It's telling you to move, to change, to act before time runs out. Too many people feel fear and run from it. They numb it with distractions. They avoid responsibility. They wait for the right time. But the fear doesn't leave, it grows. Because poverty isn't just financial, it becomes mental, emotional. It seeps into your confidence. It shapes how you see yourself. And over time, it convinces you that settling is normal, that struggle is just life, that dreams are for other people. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, stop right now. Your future is at stake. This is not about motivation. This is survival. You cannot live your whole life stuck in a cycle of just getting by. It's exhausting, it's painful, and most of all, it's unnecessary. You weren't meant to live in fear of bills, fear of emergencies, fear of being broke forever. But if you don't act now, you'll stay right there. Because the truth is, time doesn't fix anything. Action does. Fear can destroy you, or it can drive you. If you let it push you into action, it becomes your greatest teacher. It forces you to stop wasting time. It makes you look at your habits. It breaks your excuses, but only if you stop running from it. Stop brushing it off. Stop telling yourself it'll get better on its own. It won't. Hope is not a plan. You need to get serious. You need to treat your situation like it matters, because it does. Being poor isn't just about lacking money. It's about having no options, no time freedom, no peace of mind. You wake up worried, you go to sleep drained, and you repeat that cycle over and over, wondering when your break will come. But the break doesn't come until you make the break happen. It starts when you finally say, I've had enough. That's when your life starts changing. You don't need a miracle. You don't need someone to come save you. You need urgency. You need to get uncomfortable. You need to stop accepting less from yourself and your life. That feeling you have when you know you're not living at your full potential, that's real. That's truth. And the longer you ignore it, the deeper the pain gets. The fear of staying poor should light a fire in you, not fear of failure, but fear of regret, fear of wasting years you can never get back, fear of waking up at 40, 50, 60 and realizing you never built the life you wanted. That's the kind of fear that wakes people up. That's the kind of fear that fuels the ones who make it out. They're not smarter, they're not luckier. They just stopped tolerating a life that didn't match their worth. If you don't take control of your money, someone else will. You'll keep working for people you don't respect, doing things that drain you, and trading your time for scraps. You'll keep making decisions based on survival instead of strategy. And that life will never lead to freedom. You have to decide that staying poor is more terrifying than failing. You have to be more afraid of being stuck forever than you are of starting small. Start where you are. Learn what you don't know. Stop spending on things that mean nothing. Get honest about your income and your choices. Stop acting like you have time to waste, because you don't. Time is the one thing poor people can't afford to lose, and yet it's the thing they waste the most. Waiting, hoping, wishing. That's not a plan. That's a trap. You've got to move different now. You've got to become serious about your growth. You've got to find ways to earn more, save more, build more. No more hiding, no more blaming, no more pretending. Poverty is not something to joke about. It's not just an inconvenience. It's a weight that kills dreams. It drains relationships. It robs people of confidence and energy. And you know that because you've felt it. But you don't have to stay there. The pain you feel is your fuel. Use it. Use it when you want to quit. Use it when you're tired. Use it when everyone else is relaxing and you're grinding. Because you know what the other side looks like. You've lived it. You've struggled through it. And you've had enough. That's your edge. That's your reason. Nobody is coming to push you. You've got to push yourself. You've got to remind yourself what's at stake. Your family, your freedom, your future. It's all on the line. And you either get serious now or pay the price later. Every day you wait is a day you could have been closer. Every excuse is time you won't get back. Every delay is a lost opportunity. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start with what you have, from where you are. Make a decision today that you're done playing small, that you're done living in fear, that you're done letting your past decide your future. You have more in you, but that part of you doesn't show up until you start acting like you deserve more. Cut the distractions. Stop chasing comfort. Say no to the things that keep you broke. Start building real discipline. Learn how money works. Learn how your mind works. Make a plan and stick to it. And when you feel that fear rising, use it. Don't run from it. Use it to work harder. Use it to stay focused. Use it to remind yourself that staying poor is no longer an option. Fear by itself won't change your life. But fear that fuels action, that changes everything, that gets you out of bed earlier, that makes you skip the party and study instead, that makes you invest instead of spending, that turns you into someone who is serious, capable, and committed. That version of you, that's the one who makes it out. That's the one who breaks the cycle. That's the one who stops surviving and starts living. And it all starts when you stop ignoring the fear and decide to act now, not later, not next year, now, this moment. Because if you don't, you'll wake up one day in the same spot, just older, still stuck, still frustrated, still hoping. But it doesn't have to end like that. You have a choice. You always have. Feel the fear of staying poor and do something about it today. That's where change begins. That's where power begins. Right here, right now, in the decision you make while everyone else is still asleep to their own potential. You're awake now, so move. Number 7, create your own rules instead of following broke ones. That statement alone can break generational cycles. Most people live by rules they never questioned. They follow habits passed down from people who never figured money out, routines built on survival, and beliefs shaped by fear. And then they wonder why they stay stuck. If the people you've learned from never reached where you want to go, then why would you copy the way they think, live, or spend their time? It makes no sense, but people do it every day. They mimic their environment, repeat the same decisions, and call it normal. It's not normal, it's a trap. If you want to break out, you have to break the pattern. You have to stop taking advice from people who are struggling just to stay afloat. Stop copying what's common and start thinking for yourself. Most of what's common is broken. Common thinking says work a job forever and hope it's enough. Common thinking says don't take risks, play it safe, keep your head down. Common thinking says if you look busy, you're doing well. But none of that guarantees success. Most of it leads to the same place: frustration, paycheck to paycheck stress, and a life you tolerate instead of one you're proud of. That's why creating your own rules isn't optional, it's necessary. Because if you don't, you'll be stuck following someone else's version of life, one that doesn't serve you, challenge you, or build you. You can't build a future by copying people who gave up on theirs. You have to stop living by rules written by people who accepted less. You have to write your own. This doesn't mean you ignore wisdom. It means you question everything. You ask, is this helping me grow, or am I just doing it because everyone else is? Following broke rules leads to broke results. That includes financial poverty, but also mental poverty, low standards, low expectations, low effort. And you don't break that by continuing the cycle. You break it by doing what most won't, thinking independently. People will question you. They'll push back. They'll say, that's not how it's done. But understand this, they're not angry at you. They're confused by you. When you start setting your own standards, it reminds them that they didn't set theirs. When you break away from average thinking, you force people to look at their own choices. That's uncomfortable for them. But that's not your problem. Your job isn't to make others feel comfortable. Your job is to build the life you want. So build it. and build it on rules that actually make sense for the future you want. Rules like earn more than you spend. Rules like don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be. Rules like protect your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Rules like delay comfort now so you can have freedom later. These aren't flashy rules, but they work and they last. Too many people are stuck because they're loyal to the wrong beliefs. They were told to be realistic, so they never even tried. They were told to just be thankful for a paycheck, so they never built anything more. They were told to wait their turn, to be patient, to not stand out. And all those things sound good until you look up one day and realize your life looks exactly like the people who gave you that advice. Stressed, overworked, unfulfilled. That's what following broke rules gets you. You have to be bold enough to do the opposite, to challenge the habits you were raised with, to break free from routines that don't make sense anymore. That means learning how money actually works. That means surrounding yourself with people who think bigger, live smarter, and act with intention. That means cutting off any rule, belief, or behavior that keeps you small just because it's familiar. Your future isn't built by chance, it's built by choices. And the most powerful choice you can make is to stop living on autopilot. Don't do something just because your parents did it. Don't keep habits just because they're common. Don't repeat routines that keep you tired, broke, or stuck. That's not tradition, that's just avoidance. And it will cost you everything if you don't wake up in time. Building your own rules means you take full ownership. If you mess up, it's on you. If you succeed, it's because you earned it. That level of responsibility isn't for everyone, but it's the only path to freedom. It's the only way you build something you can be proud of. Because you didn't just follow what was handed to you. You created something better, something stronger, something yours. And your rules don't have to look like anyone else's. That's the point. You can design your own structure. You can decide how you spend your mornings, how you earn, how you invest, how you grow. But you've got to stop copying systems that don't work. You've got to stop being loyal to habits that keep you tired and poor. Ask yourself, who taught you the rules you live by? Are they thriving or surviving? Are they living in freedom or barely holding on? That matters, because the mindset that taught you will shape you unless you challenge it. And if you don't challenge it, you'll repeat it. Not because you meant to, but because you didn't stop to question. This is your moment to stop and question, to build something different, to draw a line and say, from here on out, I choose how this story goes. That doesn't mean you get it perfect. It means you stop letting your past write your future. It means you stop letting people who are stuck decide how far you go. If you want different results, you need different rules, not trendy ones, not rules built on emotion, real rules, grounded in responsibility, focused on long-term gain, driven by discipline. That's how wealthy people move. That's how strong people lead. That's how successful people live. They don't follow, they create, and they do it on purpose. This isn't about rebellion. It's about strategy. It's about asking better questions. It's about thinking like a builder, not just a follower. What works for them may not work for you. What held them back doesn't have to hold you back. You're allowed to break patterns. You're allowed to redesign your days. You're allowed to rise. But none of that happens if you keep following broke rules. None of it happens if you keep saying yes to what everyone else is doing. Average doesn't lead to freedom, and doing what everyone else does is the fastest way to stay average. You're here to build something stronger, and that starts with your own rule book. So take a breath. Look at your life honestly. What rules are you following that no longer serve you? What beliefs are keeping you stuck? What patterns are pulling you back every time you try to rise? Write them down. Break them one by one. Replace them with rules that reflect who you want to become, not who you used to be. This is how you rebuild your life. Not with noise, not with excuses, with clarity, with truth, with discipline, and with new rules. Ones that push you, ones that protect your peace, ones that build your future. Create those rules now and live by them like your freedom depends on it, because it does. Number 8, earn respect by building something others can't ignore. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you earn through effort, discipline, and results. People might not agree with what you do. They might not like how you think, but when you build something strong, something consistent, something that solves problems and adds value, they can't deny it. They might stay quiet. They might not applaud you, but they notice. And deep down, they respect it, even if they never say it. Most people try to be liked. They want approval, attention, and praise. They want to feel accepted before they even start building, but that's the wrong order. Respect doesn't come from being popular. It comes from becoming valuable. It comes from doing the work most people avoid. It comes from staying consistent when others quit. It comes from showing up when no one else will. You want to be respected? Build something that proves who you are without needing to explain it. There's a difference between noise and value. Noise gets attention. Value earns respect. Anyone can post quotes, talk big, or fake success for a while. But when you build something real, when your name is connected to discipline, results, and contribution, people remember that. You become known for what you've built, not for what you said. And that's the goal. Not to be loud, but to be undeniable. What are you building right now that people can't ignore? If the answer is nothing, then you've got work to do. The clock is running. Time doesn't wait for motivation. It rewards execution. If all you do is talk about your goals, you'll be forgotten. But if you start creating something consistent, meaningful, and solid, people will respect it. Maybe not at first, maybe not openly, but respect always shows up in the long run. Because the world eventually catches up to the work. You don't need approval to get started. You don't need a crowd to validate you. You need a reason. You need standards. And you need to build something that can outlast opinions. Something that delivers results even when you're not around. That's what earns respect. Not flash, not attention, substance. If your goal is to stand out, focus on building. If your goal is to be remembered, focus on building. If your goal is to be respected, stop chasing attention and start becoming useful. Become someone who solves real problems. Become someone who shows up early, stays late, and produces value. Respect follows the people who don't waste time trying to look impressive. It follows the ones who actually do the work. You've got to stop asking what people think and start asking what you're creating. Are you just consuming, or are you building? Are you just reacting, or are you constructing something that moves the needle? The people who change the game are the ones who take full control of their time and energy. They use it to build something bigger than themselves. Something that lives on, something that serves, something that produces real value. And building doesn't always mean creating a business. It means developing something solid in your life. It could be your mindset, your body, your discipline, your skills, whatever you choose. Build it well. Build it until people notice the difference between how they live and how you live. Until they see the gap and wonder how you did it. Because when you build something others can't ignore, you stop needing to explain yourself. You walk differently. You move with purpose. You don't argue with doubters. You show them results. You don't have to respond to every opinion. You just stay focused. That focus turns into momentum. That momentum turns into results. And results silence everything else. Most people want respect, but are afraid of the work required to earn it. They want the title, not the process. They want the spotlight, not the grind. But respect isn't handed out. It's earned in quiet mornings, late nights, missed parties, and disciplined routines. It's earned through doing what needs to be done even when no one is watching, especially then. You won't always feel like it. You won't always be motivated. That's not the point. The point is to stay consistent long enough to build something that matters. Something that gets better with time. Something that reflects your standards. Your name should stand for something. Not just personality, but reliability. Not just ideas, but impact. Start treating your life like a project that must be built with care. That means taking ownership of every hour. That means cleaning up your decisions. That means raising your standards. You're not here to impress the crowd. You're here to become the person people quietly respect because of how you carry yourself and what you've created. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is how committed you are to the process. If you're serious about growth, make sure your actions prove it. Talk less, show more, think long term. Stop worrying about what's popular and start thinking about what's permanent. Build something that makes people stop and say, that's different. Not because you told them, but because it's undeniable. And you don't need to rush. Building something great takes time. The world is full of fast talkers and quick fakes. Don't become one. Focus on real progress. Focus on sharpening your skills. Focus on being useful every day. You won't always see instant results, but over time, the compound effect kicks in. People start noticing, and more importantly, you start becoming someone you respect. Because before you earn respect from the world, you have to earn it from yourself. That means doing what you said you would do. That means holding yourself to a higher standard when no one's watching. That means building even when you're tired, uncertain, or discouraged. Respect yourself enough to keep building, to keep showing up, to keep improving. When you do that, something shifts. People can feel the difference in your energy. They can feel the weight behind your words. They can sense the focus in how you carry yourself. That's what respect looks like. It's not loud. It's not desperate. It's steady, and it's earned. You've got a choice. Keep following the crowd and blending in, or start building something that makes people pay attention without needing to shout. If you want your life to mean something, if you want to leave a mark, start building. Build your reputation, build your body of work, build your habits, build your future, and build it so well that even your silence speaks for you. Respect doesn't come from trying to look important. It comes from becoming important. not in status, but in contribution, in discipline, in value. When you live like that, respect isn't just a wish, it's the natural result of how you move through life. So start today. Build something that no one can ignore, and let that be your legacy. Number 9. Put pressure on yourself to become financially useful. That's not a suggestion, that's a requirement if you want to stop struggling and start thriving. If you don't learn how to be useful, you'll always depend on someone else to survive. And depending on others for your basic needs doesn't lead to peace. It leads to quiet frustration. It builds a life where you're constantly playing catch-up, constantly waiting, constantly settling for less than you're capable of. And it doesn't have to be that way. But it starts with pressure. Internal pressure. The kind that doesn't wait for someone to push you. It comes from you. Financial usefulness means you can produce value. It means you can solve a problem that people will pay for. It means when something breaks, you can fix it. When a situation demands more skill, more leadership, more responsibility, you're ready. Not perfect, but useful. And the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards usefulness. You don't get paid for what you know. You get paid for what you can do. And that requires pressure. Pressure to grow, pressure to learn, pressure to deliver. Most people avoid pressure. They want comfort. They want life to be easy. But easy doesn't lead to growth. Easy doesn't build skills. Easy doesn't pay the bills. If you're serious about changing your life, you have to stop waiting for motivation and start demanding more from yourself. That pressure will make you uncomfortable. That pressure will test your discipline. But that pressure is exactly what creates strength. When you expect more from yourself, you start acting like someone who matters. You stop wasting time. You stop hiding behind excuses. You stop playing small. Ask yourself, are you actually useful to the marketplace or just busy? Being busy isn't enough. You can work all day and still be replaceable. You can show up on time, follow instructions, and still never break out of financial stress. The real question is, can you create value where there was none? Can you take your skills and turn them into solutions? Can you make yourself impossible to ignore because you're that helpful, that consistent, that focused? That's what financial usefulness looks like. It's not about being flashy. It's not about chasing trends. It's about being reliable, about being able to take your time, your effort, your ideas, and turn them into something that helps people. That's what the world rewards. And you don't wait until life gets hard to start becoming useful. You start now. You put pressure on yourself before life does. Because when life puts pressure on you and you're not ready, you break. But when you put pressure on yourself early, you build strength before the storm ever hits. Look around. The people who thrive didn't get lucky. They became valuable. They put in the hours. They sacrificed when others were relaxing. They pushed through discomfort. They studied. They practiced. They developed a skill set. That pressure they put on themselves created opportunities most people will never see. Not because they were special, but because they were useful. Stop asking why you're not getting paid more and start asking how you can become more valuable. That question changes everything. It moves your focus from complaining to creating, from waiting to working, from hoping to building. You don't attract opportunities by wishing for them. You attract them by preparing for them. You make yourself ready, and readiness comes from pressure. The pressure you apply to yourself when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one even knows what you're working on. That's where the foundation gets built. Most people wait for pain before they move. They wait for rock bottom. They wait for something to force them into action. That's not leadership, that's reaction. If you want to lead your life, you have to flip the switch before life does it for you. You have to say, I'm not where I want to be, and I won't stay here. And then you take that frustration and turn it into fuel. You wake up earlier. You study harder. You use every spare moment to sharpen yourself. Not because someone told you to, but because you refuse to stay average. And don't mistake pressure for stress. This kind of pressure doesn't destroy you. It develops you. It gets you focused. It keeps you sharp. When you know that your future depends on your growth, you stop wasting your days. You stop saying, I'll do it later. Later becomes never for most people. But when you apply pressure now, you give yourself a chance, a real chance to break free, to become someone that people count on, someone who can create, lead, build, and solve. Financial freedom is not given. It's built. It's earned. You build it by becoming so good at what you do that people seek you out. You earn it by producing results over and over again. You don't wait for the world to hand it to you. You push yourself into position. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice, daily choices. The choice to skip comfort and choose growth. The choice to say no to distractions and yes to discipline. The choice to take your life seriously before someone else has to. There's a power in knowing that your future is your responsibility. It's not your boss's job. It's not your parents' job. It's yours. The sooner you take that seriously, the sooner you stop blaming, stop avoiding, and start building. That's what putting pressure on yourself really means. It's not about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest. Honest about where you are. Honest about what needs to change. Honest about how much more you're capable of. And when you do that, everything starts shifting. You stop chasing quick wins. You start playing the long game. You stop making excuses. You start making moves. You stop wishing. You start earning. You move from stuck to useful, from waiting to leading, from confusion to clarity. And the world starts to respond, not right away, but eventually. Because value doesn't go unnoticed forever. When you become useful, opportunities begin to find you. People begin to trust you. Doors begin to open. But none of that happens unless you take the first step and apply the pressure yourself. Make today the day you stop playing around. Make today the day you say, I'm done being comfortable with average. Make today the day you become someone who produces, contributes, builds, and grows. That's the kind of person who earns real respect. That's the kind of person who never has to worry about survival. Because when you become financially useful, you stop chasing opportunity and start attracting it. That's how you win. That's how you rise. And it starts right now, with pressure. Your pressure, not from the outside, from within. Number 10, act like your future depends on today's discipline. Because it does. Every day you wake up, you're either moving toward the life you want or away from it. There is no neutral ground. The small actions you choose today are building the habits, mindset, and results that will shape your tomorrow. And if you're not paying attention to how you're living today, don't expect tomorrow to magically improve. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about power. It's the one thing you can control every single day. No matter where you start, no matter what you have, no matter who's watching, you can choose to act with discipline. And that choice sets the tone for everything else. Most people treat discipline like it's optional. They act like it's something you turn on when life gets serious. But the truth is, life is already serious. You don't get a second version of today. You don't get time back. You don't get to redo wasted years. That's why every decision you make now has weight. It's either adding to your progress or adding to your regret. And regret is expensive. It costs peace, it costs time, it costs your belief in yourself. You need to start living like your actions actually matter, because they do. Every skipped workout, every missed opportunity, every distraction you give into it, all adds up. And eventually it shows up in your results. Not just physically, not just financially, but mentally. When you avoid discipline, you start losing trust in yourself. You start feeling like someone who talks more than they act. And that eats at you. That quiet frustration you feel, it's not because you're incapable, it's because you know you're not doing what you could be doing. That's why discipline matters. Discipline is the real flex. It's the difference between those who talk about potential and those who live it. It's the reason some people grow while others stay stuck in the same cycles. Discipline doesn't always look exciting. It's not loud. It's not always visible. But it builds strength quietly. It builds momentum silently. And when you start stacking disciplined days together, your future begins to shift. You start to feel different, think different, move different. You have to stop acting like time is unlimited. You don't have forever to get it right. You have now, and if you waste now, you pay later. Discipline isn't about pushing yourself to the edge. It's about choosing structure over chaos. It's about doing the hard things first, so your life becomes easier later. You might not always want to do it, but that's where the power lies. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, is what separates winners from talkers. Your future doesn't respond to intentions, it responds to execution. You can journal your goals, write affirmations, visualize all day, but if your actions today are lazy, undisciplined, or filled with distractions, none of it will matter. You can't fake discipline. You either live it or you don't. And your results will always expose the truth. The key is to simplify your expectations. Stop trying to do 100 things. Focus on one thing you can do today that moves you closer to who you want to become. Wake up on time. Follow through on your plan. Say no to temptations that pull you off track. You don't need perfection. You need direction. And discipline gives you that direction. It gives your life structure. It puts meaning behind your time. And when time has meaning, your life gets purpose. Think about where you want to be in 5 years. Seriously, picture it. The income, the lifestyle, the peace, the freedom. Now ask yourself, does the way you're living today lead there? Are your habits designed to create that future? Are your choices helping or hurting you? If the answer is no, you've got a decision to make. Keep living like today doesn't matter and stay stuck, or treat today like the seed of everything you want and start moving different. You don't need anyone's approval to start being disciplined. You don't need to explain your routines. You don't owe anyone an excuse. This is your life. And if you don't take full control of it, you'll watch it slip away in distractions, doubts, and delay. Discipline is how you get that control back. It's how you stop reacting and start leading. It's how you earn back your self-respect by becoming someone who does what they say they'll do. The beautiful part is, discipline doesn't require talent. It's not genetic. It's not about how smart or lucky you are. It's a decision. It's choosing action over comfort. It's doing what's necessary when it's boring, inconvenient, or painful. And every time you choose discipline, you strengthen the part of you that builds your future. You might not see results right away. That's normal. Discipline isn't about instant gratification. It's about planting seeds and trusting the process. It's about staying consistent when no one notices. And eventually something clicks. You start seeing progress. You start feeling stronger. You start becoming someone you actually admire. And once you feel that shift, it gets easier to keep going, because now you're building momentum. There will be days you slip, days you fall short. That's part of the process. But discipline doesn't die because of one bad day. It dies when you stop trying. So get back up, realign, remind yourself why you started. Your future isn't shaped by one perfect day. It's shaped by the days you show up, even when it's hard. Act like your future depends on today's discipline, because it does. It's not about the big moments. It's not about breakthrough days. It's about what you do when the cameras are off, when the motivation is gone, when no one's checking in. That's when it matters most. That's when you either move closer to the life you want or further from it. You have a responsibility to your future self. You can't expect to live in peace later. If you live carelessly now, you can't expect results if your habits are weak. You can't expect success if your actions are inconsistent. You have to live like today is your chance to change everything, because it is. Every disciplined choice you make today creates options tomorrow, and every careless one limits your freedom later. You won't always feel like doing the work. That's expected. But do it anyway. Wake up early even when you're tired. Stick to your plan even when it's hard. Save your money even when it's tempting to spend. Practice your skill even when you're not in the mood, because the payoff doesn't come today, it comes later. And when it does, you'll be glad you pushed yourself now. This is your shot. You don't get today again, so use it. Be sharp, be focused, be intentional. Show up for your goals like they matter. Don't talk about what you're gonna do it. Don't wait for inspiration. Build routine. Don't wish for more time. Master the time you have, because your future isn't waiting. It's being shaped right now, and it's being shaped by your discipline, or your lack of it. This is how you build a life that feels good to live, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one disciplined action at a time. No shortcuts, no magic, just real effort, real consistency, and the belief that who you're becoming is worth the work. It is, so prove it, today. If you truly want wealth, stop waiting for the right moment and start becoming the right person. The law of wealth attraction rewards action, not intention. Your future depends on what you do after this video, not what you feel, but what you fix. Take what you've heard today and apply it. Look at your habits, question your mindset, raise your standards. Every step you take with purpose puts you closer to financial freedom. Remember, money doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who are ready for it. So get ready, stay ready, and go build the life you deserve.